Guys, good afternoon. Biget Esdia Musibia Mutia. So today I'm going to be interviewed by someone special, and yes, I have to invite them. We are.
Hi,
I have a filter on.
are you for real?
Yeah.
I have no filter. I woke up like this.
Oh, okay. So,
Yeah.
hi guys, welcome to my live today. I'm going to be interviewed by the one and only Madame Bay. So, I realized that I need to give out information based off of the next person, a person who would not know what I do. So, I was like, let's do a question and answer session where you ask me the most important things about sustainable fashion and sustainability. And then, yeah, we go from there. So, introduce yourself and let's go.
Hi everyone. My name is Sheila. Can you hear me? My name
But
is Sheila. Louder. My name is Sheila. I'm a content creator, and today I'm going to ask Mercy, or the fashion vegan, as you guys all know her, a few questions about fashion and sustainable design and all that. So I don't want to make this intro very long. I think we should go straight into the questions. Hi Jamila.
yeah.
So the first question is going to be, what inspired you to become a sustainable fashion designer?
Okay. What inspired me? So when I moved to Switzerland, I had no job. I was looking for a job in fashion, and I had to learn German first. And I was at home doing nothing, so I was like, let me get a machine. So at first, I ordered for fabrics, and so I
Stop
so at first I ordered for fabrics. I ordered for fabrics, and then I was doing outfits. But then it would have been so difficult if it was difficult because I was new here. I don't know anyone, so like selling something to people who don't really know you, who don't know where you're from, like what's your story, it's a bit hard. And also, it wasn't sustainable for me and my money to be buying new fabrics, right?
Yeah.
And I remembered actually the thing that had inspired me as a child to become a designer is because I would like play with my clothes. I would cut them up, like if they were jeans or whatever, make it shorter, like whatever. Like I would literally sew using the needle and thread if I want to change something. So I was like, let me start and see how this is going to go. And actually, I also read about the future of fashion, an article, and it mentioned that sustainable fashion will be one of those. But as I got into it, I realized that I loved it and I loved the concept, and I got to learn like it goes beyond fashion, it goes even towards a lifestyle. So yeah, that's how I got into it, and here I am.
So can you walk me through your design process on how sustainability factors into it, because you're a designer, and yeah, walk us through your process.
So okay, before anyone asks why we're doing this interview, like this week is Fashion Revolution Week. And during this week, the sustainable fashion community sheds light on everything fast fashion has done and alternatives to fast fashion, meaning slow fashion, like fair trade for everyone involved in the trade and everything else. So that's why I'm doing this so that we learn and we get involved. And so Sheila asked, what is my process? The, the thing is, it's been difficult for the last, so because I started in 2018 when I seriously said, okay, let me become a eco-friendly designer. She's a designer. Jamila, please stop. Anyways, so the designing process starts with, I find a piece, it can have a cool fabric, and I just go with it. Like it can have a cool pocket, it can have, and then I'll go through my Instagram, like my how to say, my collections, like the things that I save. And I go through, I see some details that have inspired me, and then I design from there. So there is not really, it's really difficult because you're not following the conventional process. So sometimes you have to unpick everything, like take it out and then put it together. And the proportions are not, so in the beginning, it was very difficult for me with the proportions. And also, me as Tura, that brand, I do not want my thing to look like it's upcycled. I want it to look like it was like originally designed that way. So I want a person to say, I don't want the person to say, oh, that was this before. No, I want a person to look at it and be like, oh, wow, what a nice outfit. So that's my process. And I use what I have, like whatever I have, whatever I can find, I use.
I actually personally love the fact that I like the process of knowing what it was before and what you turned it into. It's actually a little bit sad that you don't want people to know what it was like before. I personally like that. Oh my God, it was like this and now it's this. I love that whole process. So on that note, what materials do you use to design your clothes, and how do you where do you source them from for them to be sustainable?
Okay, so that brings in the question of what makes a clothing sustainable or eco-friendly. So number one, the way it was made. So sometimes how it's made, for example, you being able to source who made it makes it sustainable. If you can tell me where you got it, where the person sourced their fabric, where they were sewing from, then that makes it sustainable. That's number one. Number two, the material. The material has to be, it doesn't have to be, because some material, for example, in fashion, some brands will have their cutouts, right? Let me give you an example. What a cutout means. Like some factories usually have cutouts and they throw them, right? So you get like things like this. So
And what is that?
cutout. So this is like from a factory, right?
Yeah.
That makes fabric.
Okay.
But usually they'll cut the ends because they don't want them to appear on the fabric. Let's say this was for whatever it was for. They usually don't want to, so they'll cut this whole thing and they have to dispose it. So it's our duty, people like us, to upcycle. So for example, this makes it sustainable, meaning it was bound to be thrown. But if I can make something out of this, then that makes it sustainable, that I've given it a new cycle. The other thing that makes something sustainable is the material it's made of. So there's different materials, like there is organic and synthetic. So synthetic materials will include polyester, acrylic, acetone, like the things you put on your nails, right? All of that stuff can be made as fabrics. And how it's made as fabrics, because so many people don't understand this, is that they will melt oil and then it's sort of like a shower, right? When they melt the oil, they pump it through something like a shower. And then that shower is like, while you're pumping it through the shower, you are also solidifying it, right? So it becomes like thread,
Yeah.
right? So from thread, then they'll make the fabric, because fabric is thread anyways, like left and right, like, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that, and how to know it's synthetic is when you burn it, it does smell like plastic, right? So when you burn a fabric, that's how you can test it to know. So you'll find that there are such synthetic fabrics, and why they're not sustainable is because once you dispose it, it will not decompose for years. It takes like 100 years for even it to decompose, like 50% or 30%. I don't know the right amounts, but yeah. So I don't know if that explains. So then again, in fabrics, there is organic ones. An organic fabric can be a recycled fabric. For example, there's recycled polyester. The recycled polyester is the one, like, they use bottles to melt and then they'll make recycled polyester, like used bottles. And then there is
something that is safe to use in the fashion. Sorry to cut you off. Is that
yeah.
something that we can? Is that something that we can? That is good for us to wear? Like if it's a recycled bottle and stuff like that, like you said, what is good and bad fabric for people to wear? From your opinion as a sustainable designer.
Okay, so in my opinion, from my research that I've been doing, if you want to check it out, like my blog, I wrote about the vibration, like how fabrics have frequencies and vibrations. So in my opinion, if you live in very hot climates, I would recommend linen, because linen has apparently 5,000 hertz of frequency. Like, it's very high frequency. In fact, they say, like, there's so much, like the Bible talks about it, people have always used it. Ancient Egypt used to use linen, and also it has healing properties, meaning like if you're sick or you want to heal, they advise you to wear linen. Now if you're in cold climates, they advise you to wear wool. It's the same amount of hertz as linen, so you can use wool as opposite of linen. And however, they say you cannot wear wool and linen at the same time, because they'll cancel themselves out and they'll give you zero frequency. So then what's crazy is that the human body is 100 frequency when it's healthy, and then you find that fabrics like cotton, organic cotton, is only 70, and then this polyester and whatnot is only 15 or 10. Very low vibration. So you have to keep that in mind, that even though you're buying something cheap that is looking nice, you have to understand that you're putting it on your body at the end of the day. And if you're trying to fight certain stuff, I don't know, it's a deeper topic, but I don't know if you get what I mean. So I think people should know.
I get what you mean, but I guess I understand that. But then you were talking about, before I cut you off, the sustainability of there's some sustainable things like they melt bottles and stuff like that. Would you say that's ethically correct in this terms? Would you say that it's good sustainability? Is there good and bad sustainability? Just a random question.
The thing is, this whole like green fashion and green energy and green, it's something that is kind of new, and it's kind of hard for people to gauge and be like, am I part of the solution or the problem? Because if you continue recycling, again, you are producing fumes that are producing this recycled fabric. So for me, in the end, it's like, at least they are solving something, because in the end, that polyester that they've recycled, for example, the bottles, it's better off being given another life and another life and another life, because anyways, if it was left in the ocean, it would destroy so much. So I don't know if you get what I
I
mean.
get what
It's not
you
the
mean.
best solution. The best solution is to maybe totally like go away with non-biodegradable like stuff. But I mean, what can you do?
Jamila, you're very right. It's very cold in Canada, and you know, I learned this thing about wool and the vibration of clothes from Mercy, and I'm going to get, for the next winter, I'm going to be very mindful and get myself some wool.
Yeah. And have you noticed that, like, even in winter, like, there are some fabrics that will itch you, not even in winter, like when you're in Uganda, when it's super hot and you're wearing a polyester. I think those are some of the things that cause cancer, because can you imagine a plastic with the right amount of heat, it can actually melt on you.
100%, 100%. I feel like it's the same concept. They say that don't drink water from a plastic bottle if it has been hit by the sun.
Okay.
If it has been, okay, I think they say you should avoid them as much as possible. I'm saying this with a shitload of water.
No, I
bottles,
understand.
but
Yeah,
like they
that's like
say
you
when
cannot
the
be
sun,
100%.
yeah. So my next question is going to be, what challenges have you faced in the process of designing as a sustainable designer?
So the challenges I face is marketing my product, because it's a new concept and it's hard to explain to people why you're doing what you're doing. It's hard. And people don't care. They don't care that.
Mercy, oh, I was going to cut you off because I read Jamila's comments. And before we go there, what is that all about?
What's that? I
Also,
can't see.
in winter, I had some clothes that
Would give
give
her
off
electrical
shock. Yes,
static.
what is that? Yes, static. Oh my God, yes. Even me, I have clothes
I,
this
I,
winter that give me static.
the thing is, I don't know. I need to do research on that, but
Okay.
you could be onto something, because I mean, there are some metals that are put in the clothes that we have. I don't know.
Also,
I
in
don't know.
the air, there's a lot of metals and all those things that we always just constantly breathe in, like what is it, mercury and all them things. Maybe it's part of the reason. I don't know, but I'm looking forward to learn whatever you hear, whatever research you get. I'm looking forward to learn. Anyway, let's go back to the question of the challenges that you've been facing as a sustainable designer.
So the biggest challenge is, of, like I said, marketing something new, something completely new, because I'm sure to so many people, I was the first person they ever had talking about eco-friendly design, upcycling, so it's been hard. It would have been easier if the concept was already known to people. The other thing is also, the challenge is that while you're telling people to be sustainable in their design, the option of like slow fashion brands and whatever, it's a bit expensive, right? So sometimes I'm like, that's the biggest challenge, that's the biggest challenge, finding my niche, finding my market of people that appreciate the work that goes behind like a piece, and that when I tell you the price, it's this, you're going to appreciate how much, like, what's behind it, and everything else. So that has been the biggest challenge. The other challenge for me was a designer, personally, that, like I said earlier, the proportions, right? Learning the proportions, and also, since before I was a normal designer, and bringing my aesthetics into upcycling was hard, like finding my direction and my position, because if I'm making one of a kind pieces and every piece is different, sometimes it's very hard to be cohesive. So that's that is the challenge.
To be honest, for me, one of the things that I really appreciated about your fashion is watching your process. And I believe that because I was watching your process, no matter what price you put on it, I feel like it's worth the price because it's a process. And I know the marketing is hard, but honestly, lately you've been sharing a lot of the process, and we see the struggle, the work that you put in. So I'm pretty sure, like, in no time, people are going to start seeing the value. But like you said, it's very new and it's very hard for people to understand. But you've been taking us through the process of understanding what it's like. Very soon, before you know it, people are going to understand the value, and that won't be a problem anymore. But I understand how it's a challenge. My next question is, how do you prioritize both sustainability and aesthetic appeal in your design?
I think that's what we just discussed,
But
like
in detail.
Okay, sustainability and then my aesthetic. That's why I was saying, like, it's very hard to maintain my aesthetic sometimes. That's why sometimes, maybe 20% of the time, I will include new fabrics. I will include some fabrics, but I'll make sure they're sustainable and they're sustainably sourced, right? So maybe 20%, usually 20%, I'll include new fabrics, because it's a very new concept for me. And me as a designer, my strong thingy is draping. Like, I like to do 3D on the dummy, but this has challenged because I've had to do 2D, like flatten it and figure out like how it's going to fit. And the other challenge is also the sizing. Oh my God, you guys, oh my God, this has nothing to do with design. It has everything to do with me, because I'm very small. So sometimes when a person gives me their size and I draw it out or I cut it out and it's a very big trouser, sometimes I'm like, there is no way it's this, anyone can be this big. So I reduce it. I reduce it.
Oh God, Mercy. Okay.
So I've had to forget everything I know and just go and just go. So, and I've had to learn a lot of hand beading. Like, let me show you this one I was working on. Like, not like hand beading. For example, this. So I've had to do like things like these that I never thought I would do, you know. But that's the fun process because I'm able to express myself in so many different ways that creating like new projects would not let me. So yeah, those are the challenges.
I love the details
I mean,
of that
that's
jacket. Okay. My next question is, what steps would you take to educate customers? And I know we've briefly talked about this because you said one of the challenges you face is people don't know how the work that goes into it. So marketing is hard. So my next question is going to be, what steps do you take to educate your customers about the sustainability benefits of your designs?
Can you say that again?
What steps do you take to educate your customers about the sustainability benefits of your designs? I know you tell us about how fabric is good and whatever, but what steps are you taking? Because you said marketing has been a problem, and I feel like one of the things that you should be doing for us to understand. Me, I learned a lot about fashion from you, by the way. There are so many things I never knew. But who knew what fast fashion and slow fashion? I didn't know any of that. But what steps are you taking to educate people about the benefits of the sustainability of your designs? Sustainability benefits of your designs.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. My challenge in the beginning was coming out of the yellow, like, and saying, hey, you guys, I'm here. I'm a sustainable fashion designer. Come and support me. Because do you remember the course on social media that we took where the person was like, you have to have a why,
yes.
Right? So you have to have a why. Like, why are you doing what you're doing? I needed to be inspired by something much deeper than just design.
Yeah.
And so I decided to make my blog, right? And trust me, like, while I write all of these blogs, everything that I write about, not everything, but most of the things that I write about are things that I research myself. And I'm like, oh, wow. So I was like, what can I give to the people that will make, like, that not really justify or validate, but will make sense why I'm doing what I'm doing. So one of the things that I do is that I will come here every now and then and tell you, like, the benefits of sustainable design. I'll come and tell you slow fashion, fast fashion, blah, 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 you know. And it's up to the person themselves to see value in the knowledge or in the information enough that to translate it into actually supporting me as a creator, as a designer. So I don't know if that answers the question.
As if a little bit. So you guys, just to go back to the beginning, it's Fashion Revolution Week. Mercy, please tell the people. I can't say it because
So
it's Fashion
Fashion Revolution Week. And I asked my sister to ask me a few questions that she has about sustainable fashion because I wanted to hear it from her perspective and the things that she would like to hear so that it also helps others. Yeah.
Okay. So my next question is going to be, just a second. I wrote down all my questions so that I don't forget anything. So I want to ensure that we've gone through all of them because I see that some of them you kind of hit on them. But then again, I'm going to ask this question: how do you ensure that your supply chain and production processes are sustainable for you as a designer, not in general, for you as Tura Eco, the fashion vegan?
So first of all, I source locally. Like, I literally locally source. Like, I don't import any fabrics unless someone brings it for me, or, you know, like, I'm not importing any fabrics. That's number one. Number two, if I have to buy one, I will go to the shop here. Luckily, there are broken houses. Number one, like, there is leftover fabrics. I go and find the leftover fabrics if I want to. And what else? Oh yeah, and also people just donate to me their clothes. They're like, hey, I have a bunch for you. Come over and see if you can do something with them. And where else? Yeah, sometimes I go to cloth swaps or like programs where people are upcycling. For example, here in Zurich, every Thursday, if you live in Zurich, every Thursday there is it's called Recreate. It's in Hardbrücke. If you want more information, inbox me every Thursday. Anyone, it's open to the public. You can go to Hardbrücke and do whatever you want to repair. It's free for everyone. So there are machines, there are people like us to guide you if you want something of yours reduced or whatever. For example, yeah, people bring their clothes over there and they're like, oh yeah, it's just for donation. So I saw some of them from there. Yeah. And oh yeah, so the supply chain. So I ensure that my packaging is sustainable, number one. Number two, I also want to have a personal relationship with the person I'm selling to. And so I don't have so much like commercialized packaging. I do customized packaging depending on what I have. Like, for example, I will have like a thread. I mean, sorry, not a thread, a cloth or something, you know. Yeah, so that's how I make it sustainable. So yeah. Even when I decide to like use, for example, tailors in Uganda or people in Uganda, I make sure we have a personal relationship. I make sure that they're benefiting from my trade. and I make sure I pay them on time. That's important. I make sure I pay them on time, and I make sure that the pay is fair because I'm from there. So I'm not going to pay them like they live in Switzerland, but I'm also not going to pay them like they don't deserve what they worked for. So yeah.
So how do you see sustainable fashion evolving in the future, and what role do you see your brand playing in the fashion revolution, in the evolution of fashion?
So if people like you are asking questions and are curious about learning about this, and people are more interested, I mean, it's been 5 years since I started talking about this, and it has grown. Like people have started questioning who made their clothes. People, for example, Shein reported like Shein reported a big loss, not a loss, but their sales went down because of the bad publicity and all the work that sustainable fashion designers have been doing, and even the community has been doing to out them for their bad practices. And by the way, Shein is actually not even fast fashion; it's ultra fashion. It's ultra fashion that it will be on the website today. Yeah, it's like it will be on the website today. Like they'll put it out on TikTok. They'll get like one model or two. Okay, everything is allegedly. I don't really know what they do. But allegedly, this is what they do. They will get a model, and they will just imagine the cheapest design. Maybe they saw it in a movie. Maybe they saw a designer like myself, a little designer, made a unique design, and then immediately they'll have a sample. As soon as they put it on the website, they do not have one factory that produces for them. They outsource different contractors to do all of this, meaning 100 contractors we don't know are torturing people. 100 contractors are not paying people. 100, we don't know the working conditions, because these things just pop up. After 3 weeks, it's on the market and it's being shipped. I don't know if that's not ultra fashion. Actually, 3 weeks is a stretch too, So where was I? I was with Shein. So companies like Shein, outing them, they're now experiencing a bit of loss. And what has helped is the Generation Z. They are very willing to listen, and they're very sensitive when it comes to environment. They're not so selfish like the boomers, because the boomers are the owners of the companies of fast fashion. Let's keep it real, right?
100%.
So, and then there is the challenge right now that that slow and eco-friendly fashion is facing is greenwashing, which I want people to know about. So greenwashing is when a company kind of says that it's sustainable. For example, like, oh, we use recycled this or that, and they will use sustainability as a marketing tool. For example, there are some fast fashion brands. I will say examples like, or
but
yes, those ones. But this one had a collaboration with Kourtney Kardashian, and she was promoting it as eco-friendly. But however, that's greenwashing because it's still fast fashion. What, you're not transparent, you're not showing us through the process. Yeah, another thing that makes something sustainable is the transparency. If you can see me making something from the beginning to the end, then that's transparency, and that is sustainability. Just like the things you put on your body. I think you buy the lotion when you see a person using it and you see the person making it from beginning to the end. So yeah, that's fast fashion for you. So for us, our role is, once you learn, you tell another person. And the challenges that you're facing, there are rewards to it. Like if you say it's expensive, but you're going to have something nice, unique, and long lasting, So, and then the benefits of having something on your body that came from torture, or you don't know. Yeah. So I guess I don't know if I've answered.
Yes, you have, but you didn't answer the question of how do you see it evolving in the future.
Okay, so as I see it evolving, the problem is, this is now my problem as Mercy. There is this whole thing of global warming, right? But I don't see global warming putting fashion as fast fashion as one of the causes of global warming. They will talk about everything else, but the fashion industry is actually number 3 in pollution and emitting fossil fuels and like toxifying waterways and all. Yeah. So for me, the dilemma is that how can I talk about the dangers of fast fashion and to the environment when the people who are pushing for global warming and alternatives, they are not even pointing out anything to do with fashion, and they can not do that because a big amount of their waste in textiles ends up in our countries, right? And it's the same thing whether it's computers, whether it's whatever, all of the waste ends up in our countries. So for me, it's a bit of a challenge in where this is going. I don't know if the fight for global, changing climate and whatever, I don't know if it's somehow going to start involving fashion, which I would love to see that, if we're being honest, because then everyone looks shady. It's like, are you protecting your corporations that make, over $3 trillion every year? You understand? However, being on a positive note, the newer generation, the younger generation, everything that they are buying, even us, like starting from millennials downwards, most of the things we are buying, we love to invest in people who we know. We love to invest in things that we love. We love sustainability. accountability. Like we love questioning things. Like we love putting we love companies having accountability. For example, what happened to Balenciaga and stuff. If it wasn't for our generation and everyone else like coming together, then so you see what I mean? It's like it's going to be much easier for companies to be accountable, and that would be awesome. And I think as we go ahead, people are being more personable in the things that, for example, they wear, they eat, they listen to, and whatever. So yeah, I think it will change in the end, and it will be more mainstream.
I also feel like people need to change their mindset on consumption. I feel like consumption is a problem. You know how people feel the need to consume. They say like fast fashion is expensive, yet they're consuming all these little things from all these little companies that are cheap, and then they're not. I just want to encourage people, whoever is out there and is watching this video, and you're always buying stuff like from fast fashion brands, and you're just always buying like, oh, I saw this something new. I'm going to get it for myself. Do you want it, or do you need it, or do you want it? You know, getting stuff, just buying, consuming, over consuming, and then you don't support sustainable designers who do things that are actually going to be very sustainable, even if it's expensive. At least you have that one piece that's so
and
good.
then the things that you buy are going to end up as trash in my home.
Yeah. So my next question, which is going to be the last, what advice do you have for other aspiring sustainable fashion designers?
Like, go for it. I mean, it's the future. Anything sustainable, anything green, anything that is restoring, like anything that is restoring the how to say, like the ecosystem and whatever, like anything that is just good for us. I believe anyone should get into that career because people are being more personable with everything. I think ever since the pandemic, people became very more personable with so much, like the things they watch, who they support, blah, blah, blah. So just go for it. Just, in fact, I'm here to support you if that's what you want, but just go for it. And always remember, like, why you're doing it. It's important because it's what keeps you going.
Wow. Okay, that's it for my questions. I would just like for you to share your process a lot more with us, because I personally enjoy the process. I enjoy the process. It makes the item much more valuable for me when I watch the process. I really enjoy the process. You already know this because I've told you several times.
Okay, the other challenge I didn't talk about is being the sole person for everything, which will change soon. But me being the person who does everything, it's a little bit overwhelming. Yeah.
Well, like you said, it will change soon. And of course, those are growing pains. It's something that you have to go through as a designer, as an entrepreneur, as someone that's starting something from scratch. It's growing pains, but it's only temporary. Well, that's it for my questions for today. I hope you guys learned something. I learned a lot.
Yes, please follow Sheila. And if you're following Sheila, follow me. I don't know if I can share this with you. I don't know if you would like it, but it was a nice one, right?
It was, yeah.
Thank you so much, Sheila. You guys follow Sheila. She's a what? Wellness person?
I'm a wellness and lifestyle content creator.
Yes, she'll change your life. 100%. Follow her. And yes.
And that's there is a lot of things in wellness that actually tie in with fashion. That's why I'm very interested in fast fashion a lot, because there's a lot to learn. Wellness is not just about food and whatever. It's also the clothes you wear, how they affect your body, like we spoke about earlier. Mercy was telling you about the frequencies and everything. I'm into that stuff a lot, and it's very important, the stuff I put on my skin. I learned from her. I am yet to do like a whole what is it, closet revamp. And you know what, we should do a collab on my closet revamp and the stuff that the stuff I'm trying to, you know, bring in and out. Perfect. That's a good idea.
Yes. in with the new,
out to the old. Yeah.
Okay, you guys have a nice weekend. Bye.